Hey loves, welcome back to my channel, and for those of you that are brand new, I'm Candace and welcome to my journey. So this week I wanted to give you guys a history of our infertility journey. For many of you guys that have been following me for any amount of time, you know a little bit about our story. We tried to conceive our daughter Victory for 10 years, and we finally found success in 2018 with an IVF cycles. So I just kind of want to give you guys a history of our infertility journey, and I'm hoping that this video will give someone hope if you have experienced multiple fertility treatments, or if you've been on your journey for any extended amount of time. I just want to show you guys that regardless of what you find yourself going through, that there is victory at the end of the journey. So I'm going to go ahead and get right into the video. My husband Timothy and I, we actually did a similar video a few years ago on this channel that I will link up top. I thought it was time to do an updated video just because of course we've had our baby now, and I want to make sure that I cover the whole journey so that you guys who are new to my channel know exactly what we've gone through just to have our daughter. So Tim and I got married in 2008. We got married August 8th 2008 to be exact, 8808, and we wanted to grow our family right away. And so after a few years, when we didn't get pregnant, we knew something was wrong. We personally didn't know anyone who struggled with infertility or who openly talked about infertility, but you know, it was something that was kind of in the back of our mind, like something's definitely wrong. And so in 2010, just 2 years after being married, I had a really bad pain in my stomach, and it was so bad that I ended up going to the emergency room. And when I went there, I had like blood draws and I had ultrasounds, and I found out that I had fibroids. And the interesting thing is, fibroids wouldn't necessarily cause the type of pain that I was having. And so I think that in a strange way, it was God letting me know that, you know, I had the fibroids there. And even a step further, we were led to get Timothy tested for male factor infertility. So I feel like if I would have never had that pain, I would have never found out I had the fibroids, and then we would have never gone the step further and had Tim tested. And all of this was so new to us. We were a young married couple, both relatively healthy. And so it was just like, what is happening? Like, what is a urologist? What is all this stuff? And so we went and we met with the urologist. Tim had a semen analysis, which we then discovered that we were dealing with male factor infertility. It wasn't severe male factor infertility, but the quality wasn't the best, and that was probably one of the reasons why we were not getting pregnant. Doctor recommended that he'd had a varicocele surgery. I think the correct term is a varicocelectomy, which pretty much clips the veins so that blood can properly flow like through, and make sure that the sperm quality is good and try to increase the sperm count. And so that's what he did in 2011. He had an outpatient surgery called a varicocelectomy, and that helped the sperm quality somewhat, but it didn't make like a huge difference. And so the following year in 2012, we attempted our first IUI, intrauterine insemination is what it stands for. And I feel like we should have never been told to do an IUI just based on Tim's sperm quality and based on my fibroids. I knew the chances of the IUIs being successful was low, but we did it anyway because we had no idea. We were married like going on almost 5 years now, or 4 years, and yeah, 4 years. And so we were just like, okay, we just want to have a baby, let's just see. So we dished out $1,000. We did this IUI procedure, and it was unsuccessful. And I was devastated because it was like we were spending money we didn't have. I was doing this procedure that was uncomfortable and embarrassing, and I was doing it in secret. I didn't want to tell anybody because, you know, I didn't. And then we attempted another IUI the following year in 2013, and that one was unsuccessful as well. So by now we're married for 5 years. We have no baby. We've done 2 IUIs, which have both been unsuccessful. And now the questions are coming like, hey, when you guys gonna have a baby? When you gonna have a baby? You know, what you waiting for? And so it's just a lot of pressure. So it was a very difficult time because we had no baby. We're out of $2,000. We're a young married couple, and people keep asking us when we're gonna have kids. And so I think after that second IUI, we both kind of needed to take some time away from fertility treatments and fertility doctors. And so that's when I really learned how to track my ovulation. I started using ovulation predictor kits. I started using an app to track my ovulation and didn't take any fertility medications. I was just tracking my ovulation, and we were just hoping and crossing our fingers that we would get pregnant that way. And we did that for years. So I tracked ovulation pretty much every month. I don't want to say every month for 4 years, that sounds kind of obsessive, but pretty much I tracked my ovulation regularly until I learned that I actually ovulate. I had a regular cycle, so I ovulated exactly the same day every month, and so I didn't have to track it as much anymore. But during that time, we just kind of did some things that we had been wanting to do, that we had been putting off because we were hoping the babies would come soon. So I put off going back to school. So I finally went back to grad school and got a master's degree during that time. We traveled a lot. We bought a house. We just did things. We just actually started living our life and not basing everything around a baby or getting pregnant. And how most couples do when they're hoping to get pregnant, you base your life around hoping that you get this baby. Hope I get pregnant this month, the baby will be due this month, and then you're planning your whole life around it, which becomes exhausting. So yeah, pretty much like I said, from around 2013 until 2016, we did that. We just lived our life. We hoped and crossed our fingers that we would get pregnant naturally. And so in 2016, we were going back into the doctor, checking out. I got checked out. He got checked out again. I found out that my fibroids had not only grown, but they had like quadrupled. So I had like 13 fibroids, and one of them was like huge. And my doctor was pretty much like, I am recommending that you get these fibroids removed. I had an open myomectomy in 2016, which I did a video about as well, my myomectomy experience, which was terrible, but the recovery was painful. It was just a very, very difficult experience for me. But I had a myomectomy surgery in 2016 where they removed 13 fibroids, and 2017 we relocated to Arizona. I found a brand new amazing reproductive endocrinologist, and he suggested that we go right into IVF because at this time we had been married for 9 years. So 9 years, no baby, and tons of failed cycles, failed treatments, and lots of heartbreak and disappointment. And so we were just like, we just need to do whatever it is we need to do. We started our first IVF cycle in 2017, and we ended with 2 beautiful PGS tested embryos. We transferred both of those embryos in October 2017, and 10 days later we were devastated to learn that both of our embryos had somehow stopped growing. That they did not, from my beta numbers, it looked like they implanted but stopped growing at some time. And so we were devastated because we had spent like over $10,000, and we only had those 2 embryos, and now we had nothing. And I felt like at that moment our journey was over. I felt that was the moment in our journey. Even before, in the other 9 years, I had never felt that type of defeat, and I felt like at that moment that was our last chance to have biological children. And I was very devastated. I was angry, and my mom had just passed away as well, and so it was just a lot of emotions, and I was frustrated and I was angry, and I was just like, why can't we just have a baby like normal couples? Started another IVF cycle the following year in January. This IVF cycle we did a lot to prepare, which I will link that video for you guys as well, because I believe it is an amazing just video of everything that we did that I feel helped us find success. So as far as our diet and our supplements and acupuncture and all the things we did, we went like hardcore for this second IVF cycle, because I was like, I know this is our last chance. We don't have a ton of money to keep doing IVF cycles. I don't know what our next step is going to be, if we're going to have to adopt or do something else, and we don't have any more money left. And so we went like hardcore. It was all or nothing for this second IVF cycle, and we ended up with 3 PGS tested embryos, and we transferred the strongest and most beautiful embryo in April 2018, and December 21st 2018 our beautiful miracle baby Victory was born, and she was worth everything. So just a little bit over 10 years of trying to have a baby. She was born in December, and I still look at her sometimes and can't believe that she's here, and I can't believe that she's real. And it was worth everything. It was worth every disappointment, every negative pregnancy test, every shot, every painful blood draw, every embarrassing ultrasound, every uncomfortable doctor's appointment. All of that, it was worth it, and I would do it all over again if it meant that I could be Victory's mom. And so I really think that's our whole journey in a nutshell. It has been a journey, I'm telling y'all, and we were actually featured on Good Morning America for National Infertility Awareness Week, and I will also link that video for you guys to take a look at. It talked a lot about male factor infertility. I think that's why I'm so passionate now about sharing my story and I share my story with everyone that I meet, everyone that knows me. Even if they don't know me well, they know about my story, because there's so many women who are suffering in silence with trying to have a baby, or experiencing miscarriages, or experiencing, you know, losses or whatever. And so I think it's so important that we talk about these things and that we share our story so that other people would know that they're not alone. And I love being able to encourage everyone else while they're still on their journey to their victory. I love it so much that I even started my own business. It's called My Fruitful Journey, and I blog about infertility related things. I have some merchandise that I sell that hopefully will bring hope and encouragement to those who are still on their journey. And I don't know, I just have so many great things planned for my business for 2020. Just being able to continue to use my platform and continuing to grow and to share my story, and just hoping that more opportunities come for me to be able to share our story as well. We were able to share our story on 9 Months with Courtney Cox, where Victory's birth was recorded and for the world, literally the world, to see. And it's just been an amazing story, amazing journey. And even in my darkest and most difficult days, now looking back, of course hindsight is always 2020, but looking back, it's like everything happens for a reason. Yeah, I could have had a baby in like a year, 2 years, 3 years after being married, but everything makes sense now. Like, my whole journey had to happen the way it did so that I can be right here where I am now, sharing with you guys. And so I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope that it gave you just a little bit of hope if you are still on your journey to try to have a baby. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you are not part of my little family, be sure to hit that subscribe button down below so that you don't miss any of my videos. I hope you guys have an amazing week, and I'll be back next time with another video. Bye.